For my multimedia project, I decided to discuss the question and contrast the different ways that society views abnormal and normal behavior and compare my observations with experiences I have had in my own life. Normal behavior is known as a common pattern of behaviors found among the general population. Normal behaviors seen in people exhibit satisfactory work, establishing acceptable relationships with other people, adjusting properly in social situations, and control over portraying correct emotions given the circumstance. Also, normal behaviors do not affect a person's life and rather progress it in a positive way. Normal behavior will represent the optimal development and functioning of the individual consistent with the long-term well-being and progress of the group. That being said, people with the average amount of intelligence, personality, stability, and social adaptability are considered normal. Abnormal behavior is defined as maladaptive behavior detrimental to an individual or group. When a person's behavior seems irrational or potentially harmful to themselves and others, we tend to think of that as abnormal. These may be caused by environmental, cognitive, genetic, or neurological factors. Abnormality refers to maladjustment to one's society and culture which surrounds it. Defiant behaviors are considered as maladaptive because they are not only harmful to society, but to the individual as well. Maladaptive behavior impairs individual and group well-being, and it brings distress to the individual. It also leads to individual-group conflicts. Socioeconomic status, such as a person's gender or race, are all related to abnormal behaviors or defining someone as abnormal. Women are more likely to have eating disorders such as anorexia or bulimia, whereas men are more likely to be substance abusers. Also, statistics have shown that poor people are more likely to be diagnosed schizophrenic than rich people. Also, rich people who are diagnosed schizophrenic receive treatment better than those with less money. Three viewpoints of abnormal psychology are the biological viewpoint, the psychological viewpoint, and the sociocultural viewpoint. There are four relevant biological factors that contribute to the development of maladaptive behaviors, which can classify a person as normal or abnormal. Neurotransmitter and hormonal abnormalities in the brain or central nervous system, genetic vulnerabilities, temperament, and brain dysfunction and neuroplasticity. The sociocultural viewpoints are patterns of both physical and mental disorders within a given society. These change over time as sociocultural conditions change as well. There are three perspectives that all emphasize the importance of early experience and awareness of psychological processes within an individual, as well as how they are influenced by social factors. The first is the psychodynamic perspective, which is a theory of psychopathology based on modifications and revisions of Freud's theories. This theory comes from the psychoanalytic theory, which results from interactions between the ID, ego, and superego. The second is the behavioral perspective, which is a theoretical viewpoint that revolves around the theme that learning is central in determining human behavior. This happens through classical conditioning, operant conditioning, and instrumental conditioning. The last and third perspective is the cognitive behavioral perspective. This focuses on how thoughts and informational processings can become distorted and lead to maladaptive emotions and behaviors. In psychology, the classification of abnormal behaviors involves the attempt to characterize meaningful subcategories of maladaptive behaviors. Currently, there are three approaches pertinent to classifying abnormal psychology: the categorical, the dimensional, and the prototypal. Categorical assumes that all human behavior can be divided into the categories of healthy and distorted. This is similar to the diagnostic systems of general medical diseases. It is assumed that the person's typical behavior is the product of differing strength or intensities of behavior along multiple definable dimensions, such as mood, emotional stability, aggressiveness, gender identity, anxiousness, interpersonal trust, clarity of thinking or communication, and social introversion. Prototypal is a mode of graded categorization and cognitive thinking, where some members of a category are more central than others. From the book, their definition says it's a conceptual entity depicting idealized combination of characteristics that more or less regularly occur together in a less than perfect or standard way at the level of actual observation. Through my experience with my roommate, I have noticed particular instances of abnormal behavior that has affected her with her daily activities. I feel that she has some problems with depression, and it clearly keeps her from making new friends, getting good grades, and holding up a job. She rarely wants to leave the house and often misses her classes, would have a major meltdown at least once daily after getting upset from little things, and it began to affect her dog as well. Her dog would continuously hide if her voice ever got raised or she began getting upset. I felt if she would find some time each day to relax, it could help her to handle the difficult situations we face daily.